Why does every tabletop RPG need a game master? It's not uncommon to find that nearly all tabletop RPG systems require someone to sit at one side of the table and provide the other players with challenges, descriptions of what their characters perceive, as well as occasionally reminding them the rules of the game. However, there's a few misconceptions surrounding the player slash game master dynamic that I wanted to address today, so I'll roll the title card. And I'm not saying that certain ways of being a game master are wrong or some are right, or that I alone hold the title of best game master ever. Everyone is free to run their games however they see fit, and if your players are okay with how you do it, well, good on you. This is more like a general middle ground perspective for both new players and game masters rather than the infallible codex of adequate game direction. Cool? Cool. So, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of common myths about what the game master's role within the table is. A lot of people think that their relationship with the players is antagonistic and their job is to just find a way to kill them in the most helpless, humiliating way possible, while the players have to pray to the dice gods that they'll roll high enough to not die. And sometimes people just think that the game masters are just walking encyclopedias of game knowledge that can automatically generate encounters and quests for the players to engage in. Like it's their job to memorize every single manual and supplement out there, and earning a living should be like a secondary concern to them. Am I exaggerating? Maybe a little. But there's a reason why every myth has a smidge of truth to it. We've all seen one or two green tests about horrible experiences at the game table after all. Those exceptions to the rule are not uncommon in the community, so I might as well give them their own little spotlight. The first example is more commonly found in the game systems and settings that put emphasis on combat first, like Warhammer, Pathfinder, and D&D. There's a sizable fraction of their communities that believe that there's no fun without pain. Getting through a difficult encounter is extremely cathartic for the players when it's well designed, so much so that there's a whole genre of games about that. But when every fight is specifically tailored to frustrate and counter every option the players have, that just feels like a kick in the dick. Oh, the party didn't have any dedicated casters? Let's just make every enemy fly, cast spells from a distance, and while you're at it, make them immune to projectiles. Oh, what's that? All the players die? Well, it was their fault for not preparing for any random encounter with a platoon of Quasit armed with magic missile ones and raised to let them cast shield. Don't be that guy. Just don't. That isn't fun. You're all there to have fun. You're not going to be in any leaderboard showing how many player character skills you have. Where you'll probably show up is in Reddit asking am I the asshole when nobody wants to play with you anymore because you keep killing all their characters without giving them any agency or the means to fight back. If the core feature of the system you're running is combat, then combat has to be balanced so that there's a struggle on both parts. Killing goblins when you and your friends are level 1 is fun, but the same copy pasted goblin with 3 HP is going to get boring quick when your damage is consistently above that. And on the other side of the coin, if you're on the Game Master chair, I don't see how stonewalling your players' progress by giving them unwinnable scenarios can be entertaining. Then again, I'm not a sadist. A Game Master's duty, unless specifically agreed to by all the involved parties, is to present challenges that the players are capable of overcoming. Maybe not immediately, but they should be possible eventually. Sure, they're not going to overthrow the evil king in the first sitting of the game, but maybe making moves around the resistance circles, gathering powerful allies and artifacts, they can get in on some regicide and bring about a change. Make it something that they can look forward to and work towards that goal, rather than have them captured 5 minutes in by the king's personal hitman and thrown in the dungeon just because they had the scent of heroism. Having said all that, this next part is more oriented towards players in general. Now listen closely. Your game master was once a player too. They can make mistakes, they can forget things, they can arrive an hour late or cancel the session altogether because they had an emergency. I know we have this image of what a game master is like this mystical omniscient figure that knows every manual front to back, but in reality they're just another player. Who happens to have the textbooks for reference, sure, but sometimes not even that because God knows that those physical manuals don't come cheap, and even if you have the resources with you, that doesn't mean you'll automatically be able to use them effectively right from the start. Yes, it is entirely possible that someone with no prior knowledge about the game can run it better than a seasoned player, but that's both subjective and very unlikely. Not impossible, just unlikely. Like everything else, being a game master is something that takes time and practice, trial and error, and constant effort before you feel comfortable presenting something resembling an elaborate adventure to your close friends, let alone strangers on the internet. It's okay to have some stage fright at the beginning when all you have is a couple loosely tied together plot hooks, a few scribbled down names you pull out of Google, and a healthy serving of hope that things will work out. Some people can get the ball rolling and pick up confidence about how they run things from the first time alone, while others may need several sessions to work out their own mistakes. Maybe they tried giving specific voice or accent to certain characters and then forgot which voice it was. Or maybe they just can't do voices. Not everyone's got the vocal range to voice both a tiny little goblin to a huge burly ogre. And that's fine. That can be improved upon or overlooked if the game is fun. You know who's not going to improve? The dungeon master you trash talk because they made rookie mistakes, so now they don't feel like being a game master or even playing anymore. So they might just quit the hobby altogether. Good job, asshole. See you on Reddit with the other guy. Look, I guess the point I'm trying to make is you gotta be considerate to your fellow players. No one in this hobby was born with the rulebook in hand. If someone makes rookie mistakes, remember that at one time you were also a rookie that didn't know heads or tails about how to use their character sheet, and you probably spent the first half of the session just stacking dice towers. I know I did. We're in this hobby to have fun with our friends and weave stories that we can fondly remember later. If you want to sit down surrounded by friends just to fight with them over rules and their interpretations and walk away with bruised knuckles and hurt feelings, that's what Uno is for.